If you can understand this graph right here, you can be sure that you know how to succeed in anything, because this is something that happens in all of our minds, but we often aren't aware of it. Because this graph right here is the emotional cycle of change, and it describes exactly how our emotions play into success and why some people just can't stick to something. And maybe you've noticed this too. Maybe you wanted to start a personal brand, maybe you wanted to start your own business, but you just can't stick to it, right? You start informing yourself about it, you learn about it, you maybe start posting your first video, but then you don't stick to it, right? And the reason that happens is because you're either not understanding this or you're not implementing it yet. So if you can't watch through less than 10 minutes of me explaining this graph right here, don't expect yourself to start something and actually stick to it long term so you can actually see success with it. Because like I said, once you understand this, once you can implement this, there's no reason you should not succeed in anything. And for me personally, this is shown with my personal brand. I've been doing content for more than 3 years now. And for the first 2 years, I saw basically 0 results. I was stuck at under 300 followers on Instagram, posting partly like every single day, right? I had phases where I would do a month of like posting 3 times a day, right? But I didn't see the results. But how was I possible to actually learn from that and then in the year after that go from 250 followers to now over 11,000? It was because I stuck to this, and I'm not even at the point of success yet, right? I'm still getting there. I'm not done where I am right now. I still learn every single day. But learning about this has helped me stick to the process, and it might help you as well. So let me walk you through it. So what you can see right here, like I said, it's the emotional cycle of change. And in this emotional cycle, we basically, on the one hand, have the emotional stage and the time. So time is basically the X factor and emotional stage is the Y factor. And you can see this dotted line in the middle. It basically separates this entire graph into 2 parts. First, optimism and pessimism. And throughout this graph, we have 5 stages, which are first of all, uninformed optimism. Second, informed pessimism. Third, valley of despair. Fourth, informed optimism. And 5, success. And this applies to basically anything in your life, right? I'm going to try to make an example of content and business because that's just what I do. But you could use this for getting good at cooking. You could use this for learning skateboarding. It's basically anything. It applies anywhere in life. So let's start at number 1, uninformed optimism. This is basically like your honeymoon phase, right? It's basically the stage where you are like, yo, I just found this new thing. It's called personal branding. Business is called mentorship. I'm going to put all my time into this and I'm going to become rich, right? It's that basically that 3 a.m. motivation, right? When you find this new path, you find this new way of doing something. And this is where shiny object syndrome basically starts, right? Where you have this new thing that you're trying to pursue. So you find this new thing, you're so excited about it. You think, yo, I'm gonna push through this, I'm gonna do this. It looks easy, right? It looks too good to be true because it probably is. And then you work, and your emotional stage, right? It goes down into pessimism. So now you've learned about the thing and now you have informed pessimism, which is now basically when you notice, hey, this probably isn't that easy. Like I still have to do a lot of work, right? This business model that I found, it is quite hard. I didn't think it would be this hard to actually do it. Or with content, for example, you post your first 10 videos and it's like, oh, I didn't go viral yet. Now what? Right? You sort of start to get the info of the thing that you're trying to pursue and you start to notice, hey, this is not that easy. You start to get pessimistic. And that's when you get to stage 3, which is where most people quit, right? This is the valley of despair. This is the stage where you already put in a bunch of work, but you just feel like nothing's working out for you. You just feel like everything's not working in your favor, everything's against you, the algorithm doesn't like you, prospects don't convert to clients, it's just all shit, right? And obviously that's why this is the stage where most people quit, right? As you can see on the time graph right here, there's basically 2 decisions you can make from this valley of despair. And like I said, most people just go here and start a new thing. And this is how shiny object syndrome works, right? If you've ever seen anyone in your life who starts a new thing, let's say your mom, for example, is trying to start a diet, right? She sticks to it for like a week and then again she's back to eating junk food, right? Or let's be honest, you probably do the same thing, maybe just in different areas. This is where most people just keep repeating this cycle, right? They go from uninformed optimism to informed pessimism to the valley of despair and then just start over. Another thing, uninformed optimism, informed pessimism, valley of despair. 1, 2, 3, again. 1, 2, 3, again. 1, 2, 3, again, right? And that's obviously why you can't ever get good at something if you just go through this cycle over and over and over again. So you can sort of imagine it like this, right? I'll draw another graph right here. If you compare shiny object syndrome with actually sticking through something, it looks something like this, right? This would be consistency right here, right? Let's say this is consistency. And this, what I'm about to draw, is shiny object syndrome. You see this? It's basically like spikes because you start over every single time and you can never seem to really master anything. And that's why shiny object syndrome is so deadly, right? Because you can see after some time, after one person has gone through 4 tries, the person who's actually stick to it, even when there was plateaus like this, right? They are so much higher than you because you start over and over again, right? Like look at this difference. And that's why with people who blow up on social media, for example, it looks like overnight success, right? Because you just start over, start over, start over. But truth is, the people who seem to blow up overnight, they have years under their belt of posting content, of being consistent with it, right? But that's just something most people aren't aware of. It takes time to get good at something. But let's say, for example, we are in the valley of despair and we actually make the decision to push through. What's gonna happen then? We get to stage 4, which is informed optimism. So now after you've gone through this stage right here, you learned from that and you're now optimistic by the fact that you're informed about it. Meaning with content, for example, let's say you have posted your first 100 videos and from video 50 to 100 nothing seemed to work out, but on video 101 you actually get your first outlier, right? You get info, you see what's working, and that gives you optimism. And once you've made it here, it's not hard to still get to this stage because you now have the info that you can actually succeed at something, right? You get that first taste of at least some success. Because throughout all of this, you have zero taste of success, like not anything. And that's why it's so crucial to stick to this. Because once you're at least here, you have that first taste of success. And it's like, once you have that, you can never go back. I know, for example, that I can make viral videos because I've already made 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 viral videos, right? I know I can make them over and over and over again. And that's why I won't quit social media. That's why I won't quit pursuing my dreams, because I know that if I work on them enough, I can succeed at them at some point, like inevitably. So it's crucial you get to this stage to then at the end get to success, right? Which is what we obviously all want. Now I want you to think about something that you've been trying to start for a long time, right? Maybe it's something you're actively doing right now. Maybe it's also something that you're looking to start, right? Visualize on this graph where you are right now. If I were to talk about content, for example, I would say I'm right about here. Now with you, where are you in this entire graph? If you wanted to start a new thing, maybe you're right here at uninformed optimism. So be aware that if you want to stick to this, you're going to get to this stage, you're going to get to this stage, which will definitely suck. And after this one, you have to make a decision. Are you going to pursue another thing? Are you going to pursue another thing and then another and then another? Or are you going to push through it and try to get to stage 4 and 5? And now I want to leave you with one thing that I actually don't hear many people talking about, right? Because they always tell you to push through no matter what, right? But what if you're working on the wrong thing? For me, that was the case back then when I still had my agency. Before I was doing this whole mentorship thing that I'm doing right now, where I basically help beginner creators skip my mistakes, get their first at least 1K followers authentically, and make their first dollar online, right? Before I had this business where I do mentorship, I had an agency. And over time, it turned out to be the wrong business model, at least for me to pursue in the beginning. But what all gurus told me is to just stick through this and you will see success. But guess what? I stuck to it for 2 years, not even making $1. And I'm pretty sure now that wasn't because I didn't stick to it for long enough. It was exactly because I was working on the wrong thing, right? I was taking the wrong route. So this entire graph won't apply. Oh, oops. So this entire graph, take it with a pinch of salt, because if it's with the wrong thing that isn't meant for you, then it doesn't matter how long you stick through this valley of despair. It's just gonna go on, right? If you're working on the wrong thing, it's just gonna go like this, right? There won't be a stage 4 and a stage 5. So how can you avoid working on the wrong thing? I would say ask yourself every 6 months of really working on something super hard. Ask yourself every 6 months, is this bringing me somewhere? Are these inputs actually working, right? Review the last half year basically. And ideally you want to reflect on, hey, what inputs have I put in? What did I get out of it? What is going to happen when I now push through this? Does it actually make sense that I can succeed with this, or did I skip steps? Because with me, with my agency, what happened for me is that I was trying to put these results out that weren't even mine. I was trying to play a role, I was trying to put on a mask. And it led me to just being in this valley of despair forever. Until I actually took that scary step and invested in a mentor. And a week after I signed up with him, he told me, hey, this business that you're doing right now, stop it right now. You have to start over from zero because you built on the wrong base. And of course, I was struck down by that, right? I was so pissed off because I just spent the last 2 years trying to make this work with all these gurus telling me, hey, if you just stick to it long term, you're gonna succeed at some point. But then after those 2 years, I sign up with a mentor, and immediately a week after he tells me, hey, stop this, you have to start over from zero. Of course I was frustrated, right? But that's exactly why I'm doing the mentoring that I'm doing right now. It's because I want you to skip that time that I wasted. I don't want you to start with a mission that isn't meant for you. I don't want you to go into a direction that you don't want to go in. Because all that's gonna do, it's gonna keep you stuck in this valley of despair, and it's gonna waste time. Right? It's not going to be enjoyable, right? It's not enjoyable to be down here. But guess what? Once I made that change, I was actually able to go to this stage, informed optimism. And now, after I've gathered some proof, I'm now way ahead of the journey, right? I know now that I won't quit this whole thing because I've already tasted the success. And I also want you to get at least to this stage without getting stuck in something like this. So if you feel like you're called to do content, if you feel like you're called to put your story out there, that actually changes people's lives. And if you'd like to monetize that with your own business or by working together with brands, check out the description and there should be a link there to book a call with me and actually apply to work with me. So if that's something for you, go down there and I'll see you on the call. Peace.